Good morning, welcome to the prayer week for us here at the Salvation Army in Newark. It's January 2023 as we head on into a new year. It's really important and significant, I think, that we begin the year in prayer together as a church. So whether you're joining at home, whether you're going to be joining us in person at 10 a.m. each day this week for our prayer sessions, I do pray for each one of us that we will encounter and meet with God in some way that will inspire us and reassure us about who He is and the way we are to live as a church and as Christians in this world. Can I encourage you to interact with what's going on this week? If you're at home or watching these YouTube clips, please do put your comments in the page. We will see them. Please do email us. newark@salvationarmy.org.uk. Please do contact us, phone the office, so that if you have prayer requests, do get them into myself, Sue, Sarah, Elaine, whoever's in the office. Please do let us know and we will be praying for them. If you're coming each day, come with an open heart and ready to receive the blessing that God will give to us this week. A word of thanks right at the beginning of our week for Sue, who helpfully, as you can see behind me, has prepared and put together all the material and resources that we'll be using through this prayer week. Sue and I will be leading the sessions, but I want to say a big thanks to Sue. This isn't just something she thought about last week. I know that it's been on her heart for a good few months, and it's a great way to start this new year and to continue to think about our ministry as a church here in Newark. So thank you to Sue, and thank you to those that are going to come and share in prayer this week. What are you like at waiting? How patient are you? I think you would know about me that I'm a very patient person, and I am quite happy to stand in a queue without grumbling. I wouldn't describe myself as one of those people that stands in a queue and thinks, how long is it going to be? What's going on? When I get to the counter and someone says, I'm sorry about the wait, I'm like, it's fine. You're just doing your job as quickly as you can. Don't worry about it. Move on. But I do wonder whether the reason why we stand in queues does make a difference. When we think about last year and the Queen's passing, the queue that formed as a result to pay their respects to her grew longer and longer by the minute, if not the hour. But they knew why they were there. And even though the queue, you could see the time, was hours on end, standing in the cold, but they wanted to pay their respects. They wanted to be there. So they queued. We won't talk about the queue jumpers at this point. But maybe you've been in a queue that just seems to go on for ages and ages. I think about a journey on a motorway, and you've stopped and you're in a queue and you're in a jam and you're not really sure why. What's going on? What's happening? Maybe the traffic's so still that you get out, have a look, think, can't see anything, get back in the car. Maybe you get the passenger to Google or look on the maps or whatever. You're sitting in there, but you still really don't know why. But what about waiting as part of our faith experience and the nurturing of our relationship with God? Do we get impatient in the same way as we do in those queues with God? Do we get impatient when God doesn't act in the way that we need or want Him to? Do we seek the blessing of waiting or demand the blessings to come too soon? It's probably not that clear cut, but the psalmist does invite us to wait. Let's hear these words together. Out of the depths I cry to you, Lord. Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to my cry for mercy. If you, Lord, keep a record of my sins, Lord, who can stand? But with you there is forgiveness, so that we can, with reverence, serve you. I wait for the Lord. My whole being waits, and in his word I put my hope. I wait for the Lord more than watchmen wait for the morning. Israel, put your hope in the Lord, for the Lord is unfailing love, and with him is full redemption. He himself will redeem Israel from all their sins. Verse 5 of Psalm 130 particularly struck me as I was thinking about our theme this week about waiting on God and walking by faith. Those two things are very different in many ways, but they are necessary. And I think maybe we're not very good at the waiting bit. We're okay with trying to walk by faith and do what God wants us to do. But what about in those moments where actually doing nothing is the best option? It doesn't sit easily with us. Verse 5 says, I wait for the Lord. My whole being waits, and in his word I put my hope. How keenly do you wait on God? It doesn't happen naturally for many people, maybe not for all of us. And I think that maybe we're conditioned to just want to do things, want to be active and get on with it, particularly in the life of the Salvation Army. Maybe that's part of our DNA. But even when it comes to prayer, we want our prayers to be answered as soon as possible, instantly maybe. And often, if we're honest, we want the prayers to be answered our way, not God's way. I wonder then what it means for you today to wait upon the Lord, for your whole being to wait. Stop what you're doing and wait. I know I find it hard. It doesn't come easy for me, and I'm sure it doesn't for you. I want to be doing stuff, to keep things moving, to already be thinking about what happens next. Even though we're in January, I've had one too many conversations about Christmas at the end of the year. I find it hard to sit still and do nothing. But that doesn't mean that waiting on God is doing nothing. Maybe as humans we think that, but from his perspective, spending time with him is doing the most precious thing. I would see waiting on God as more about ensuring that we are doing God's will, that we know his purposes and the desire for our lives. If we don't stop to ask him and wait to hear from him, how on earth will we know those things? In fact, waiting on God is the most proactive thing that we can do. So today, this week, as his church here in Newark, and wherever you are this week, as you watch these videos and encounter the prayer week and spend time in prayer, put your hope in him. Wait on him and see what he will reveal as in your daily walk with him as you wait upon God. May God bless you, and may he be with you in your waiting.